Hey guys, you guys know I like collecting different things. Pinball machines is one of my passions. Like, I got Phantom of the Opera, I got Black Knight, and there's a new one that just came in that is very fitting for me and the wife. Wait till you see what it is. Hi, how are you?
The collector has a Peloton?
Yes, he does. And it is brand new. It's only been sitting here for 2 years. Look at all the dust trail, the brand new shoes with no creases in them. He is in the best shape of his life. Just check him out. Hey, Peloton still works. You should try it. It's only been here for 2 years. Never once used. Maybe once the first time.
I have used it.
Yeah, I can tell. Look at that Buddha. It's nice. Make that belt look stretchy. Arcade Legends.
Bro, you look so little next to Sam.
Because he's fat.
Is that it?
Yes.
You know you made me wear that exact shirt. That's why it's so tight.
That's what's got stretch marks in it.
Show him your belt.
God, I really fucking hate you. This just got delivered today. I dig this because I'm old, as you guys well know, and it's got all the old school stuff. It's got the old Golden Tee originally, Golden Tee 2. I mean, it's even got Spy Hunter. That's one of my favorite games. You know, Contra, you name it. So, yeah, the wife's not gonna see me upstairs.
Hey, 2 wallets. Really? Hey, it's okay to have money, but 2 wallets? Just get a fanny pack.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Okay?
Don't keep going.
Surgery. It'll make it look better.
I ain't gonna say anything to that. Don't you dare put it on my
No,
butt.
don't record that. Because, you know, you want my ass to look good on TV.
You literally have 2 wallets? Why?
No, I have one more.
Show us.
Turn around.
Show us.
Why
Come on,
do you-
George. Come on. I've seen the Costanza.
No.
Oh, what's the other one?
No.
Is that when you
You
drive?
guys
don't-
aren't privileged
you don't
enough. You guys are not privileged enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You're not privileged
You
enough.
gotta pay extra for this part or what?
Huh? Yeah, exactly. Start Hundies.
Really?
Yeah. I wish you would have fell backwards. Not to get hurt, but it would have been great. I had a satchel in high school. You guys used to fucking make fun of me in high school about it.
He did. But it was made out of parachute pant material.
Had extra pockets.
Oh, I know he did.
Now, supposedly this serial number 5, right?
Yep.
Yes. Supposedly it came from stuff that was in the movie.
No, you don't. You don't have the actual safe.
Well, I have the safe pump.
You do not.
I have all the guns.
You do not.
I do.
You really?
Yeah, sweet. Well, that's great.
Zap.
Say, I paid out the ass for it.
Paid out the ass for it, for the wife.
I believe it. You got 2 wallets, so.
You guys are real dicks.
You know, 2 wallets. Check him out. I don't really want you to look at his ass, but 2 wallets.
I've known her from junior
No,
high. He's always
seriously.
been a dick.
Would you ever wear 2 wallets? In your
Stands
back
on
pocket.
a wallet.
It's not like a wallet and a can of chew. It's 2 wallets.
I can understand it if you're in Mexico or something. You gotta throw down a wallet.
Yeah. Gambling.
One you don't care
But then
about.
again, Pheasant, I'd probably wear a satchel.
But it's pretty crazy, right?
Man, crazy.
So that's the safe from John Wick.
Oh, this is it, huh?
It's got all the guns from the movie are in there.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
What's up?
John Wick safe? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty slick.
That's crazy.
So I've known Matt a few years. I came out to his house one day and saw his collection, and we just became friends. I think people with guns, a commonality with guns, have a lot more in common than most people in general, I believe. Also turns out Matt is into like a lot of older games, which is something that I'm into. So I would actually get some old like Space Invaders, Pac-Man type games, get them in really rough condition, disassemble them, just completely rebuild them. And Matt was kind of into that as well, so he would always ask questions, and I knew he had a very old game that he wanted me to work on, which I still got to do. But kind of as the friendship developed, I found other things. I would let him know, hey, I got his pinball coming, like this old pinball machine coming, and he would mention through, you know, hey, I remember this old pinball game that I wanted. I think it was called Phantom of the Opera, and there was another one called The Black Knight. And so when I was at home, I would start tracking them down. I don't remember if he even knew that at first, and then I let him know, like, hey, I found this Black Knight pinball from like the 80s. If you're interested, it's across the country, but we can get it here. And we looked at it and made it happen. I probably want to say within like a couple of weeks we had it here. And then we got a Phantom of the Opera pinball, which is also old. And the problem with these older ones is, you know, they break down a lot. There's a lot of more electromechanical stuff going on, and that's part of the reason I'm actually here today. Is one of his games is having some problems because there's a lot more moving parts under the game that you don't see that actually break down. Some of these newer games, they're more solid state, so they don't break as often. So yeah, each series of these games has different setups. So this being the limited edition's got this different back glass on it, the different graphics on the side. And I can even see this in person. It's almost like holographic. You can even see like the candles almost look like they're lit.
So what makes it the limited edition?
It has all the features that you would normally pay for upgrades. So like the speakers will have lights on them, different upgrades. So you can see through here. Actually, there it is right there. So it's got the plate on it for John Wick Limited Edition, 5 out of only 1,000 that are going to be made for this particular model. It has all the upgrades on the play area. It has more features. It's going to have, I think you got a coin box there, right? That'll actually open.
Yeah, that does. That's for the guns.
Yeah.
I mean, guns and stuff.
So it has basically all the bells and whistles built in. You should have a subwoofer in there and a shaker motor.
It's underneath it. Yeah, I did feel the shaker.
So just the add-ons alone would price this game out. I mean,
did you tell your wife?
I just sent her a picture. She's not happy.
Oh, you could change out the plate.
Well, you should have a goodie bag, I think. I think these models come with a goodie bag full of extra stuff.
Authenticity. It's underneath.
Yeah, it's pointing down right there. And then I think they have a shaker, which is under this plastic box right here. It's a shaker.
Oh, that's a shaker. Because I definitely felt it.
So, yeah, I have a Mandalorian, and it comes with that plastic cover.
Yeah.
So it shakes the game.
Ooh, there's the authenticity.
Man, you should have
It says number 5 on that. The John Wick pinball came about by Eric, actually. He sent me a link because he's a big pinball guy. And he said, hey, this is going to get released. You need to get one. And I said, okay. So I sent it to the wife. She says, hell yes. Then it came out, and I was like, I got on the phone with all the people that I could think of that do pinball machines. I said, I want serial number 1, serial number 1. Well, that was going to be impossible. So I had to pay extra money to get serial number 5. That was the best number I can get. And just got, of course, delivered today. And oh my God, it is so much fun. I could totally... Chad's not going to get any work out of me today. I hope he knows that because I'll be going downstairs playing pinball. And because you can do different missions on it. You hook it up to your phone. It's kind of like my Golden Tee that I whipped Chad's ass onto. But it's just so much fun because you get different missions. And I know at some point, I haven't found it yet, but in the last movie, you got the blind guy, and it turns off the lights so like you're blind, and you have to do certain missions during the game. So I haven't got to that part yet, so I'm going to have to send a picture to Taryn and see what he's going to think of this game. Eric is one of my buddies. He's a XPD, just retired, police department, and he's actually the first guy that ever pulled me over. To be honest. Says he's into pinball machines. I said, so am I. And on the side, while he was working at his police department, he worked on pinball machines. So he kind of added to my addiction of collecting shit, and pinball machines is one of them. So if I want to break, he knows how to fix it. I don't, because I'll screw it up. I'm not allowed to touch those things. So, but Eric's the man when it comes to pinball machine. And and also in the PD.
Just as things progressed, then it became a video game. He wants a video game. So we got a Galaga. And then, I knew both of us kind of have a thing for John Wick and the John Wick franchise and the movies. And I knew he had a John Wick safe, and then he got the John Wick guns, and, just kind of rubbing salt in the wound. I found out recently that Stern was going to produce a John Wick pinball machine. And I want to say, before we even had pictures of the things available, I reached out to Matt, and Matt was completely on board and, of course, wanted the limited edition. And for those not familiar with pinball machines, especially with Stern produces different levels of machines, and they start out typically with a Pro. And you would think the Pro would be top of the line, but the Pro is actually like the lowest end. Even though it's got everything you would need, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles as like the premium would have. So the premium machine would be a step up, and you can identify these differences with the games because they put different graphics on them. So people who are into pinball will know right away, oh, that's a Pro, because of the graphics and because of the back glass and because of some of the limited features on the playfield. And then you'll see like the premium edition, which has a car on the field that actually can kind of skid out that you can hit, and it has different upgrades and maybe different lighting and features. And then they produce a limited run, so limited edition. John Wick was also no exception. So with John Wick, they were announcing that they were going to release a limited edition run of, I believe, only 1,000 units. Since everybody loves John Wick, that was going to be gone, like immediately gone. So as soon as I told him, he's like, we got to get number one. Like, we have to have number one. And we were trying for hours and hours and hours, and probably a couple of days, but the best we could do was a number 5. So, and even to score a number 5, like off the assembly line, a limited edition, is pretty impossible. But we're able to get it. What you'll see, and if you see some of these videos of this number 5 of this pinball machine, is what it has on it as opposed to the other ones is it has a special back glass, which is like stained glass with John Wick kind of in the foreground. The graphics on the side of it will actually have like a foil kind of wrap behind it. So you'll see things on there like candles that appear to be lit depending on like how you're walking by the machine. So it almost has like a 3-dimensional kind of effect just from the foil reflecting on the light. The playfield will have all the bells and whistles, like everything that Stern offers. It has a contract coin on there, which will actually open. And I believe, we haven't looked at it yet, but I believe it actually will show like a couple of possible bloody fingerprints on there. Not real blood, but just simulated. Coin box on there. It has that car that'll slide out, and you can actually crash into the car with the pinball. It does have some extra features, a goodie bag. It is limited number 5. It is labeled on there number 5, so I can confirm that the collector definitely has John Wick number 5 in his collection, and hopefully he doesn't get rid of it, and if he does, it goes to my house. So this, I believe the pros as well, they come with this thing called Insider Connected from Stern, where you can register the game, and the game actually will go online, and once the game is online, it'll take care of all of it, updates and things like that. But it can actually, with these models, can actually send you contracts to your phone. So you could be at work one day and a contract will come out, kind of like the John Wick movies, where people look at their phone and there's a contract out for somebody or John Wick. So you can actually get an alert on your phone that there's a new contract, and you can choose to accept the contract. If you accept the contract, then you have a new mission on the machine, which is pretty neat. A lot of these older machines don't do this. Even machines from like a year ago don't have this feature where they can add a new, what you would call it, like a new game to the actual pinball machine, a new mission, let's call it. So you hit certain targets, do certain things to complete the mission. This game is fairly unique because it can actually add them to your machine while you're somewhere else. And hey, there's a new mission. Now you go home, and instead of playing the same game, you have different things you need to do and achieve to complete these missions. And it does track everything. So when you are registered, it will actually keep all of your information online and kind of keep your progress kind of stored. So even if he was playing somewhere across the country, across the world on another machine that has this QR code feature, this login feature, he can actually scan in, and it will actually know who's playing the game and actually keep track of what mission he's on. So he doesn't have to go and play somebody else's machine and start at 0 again. He can actually play with upgraded missions. The machine will behave a little differently when he's logged in and playing under his name. Also, these limited runs, these limited edition ones will have, it's called expression lighting. So it'll have lighting that you'll see along the side of the playfield. I think they're called, the side art features. So there'll be like expression lighting there. And expression lighting is just that depending on what mission you're in or what kind of a game you're playing, the lighting effects will actually change. And it actually would change with the music. So depending on what you're doing and what's happening with the machine, the lights will they can dim down, they can brighten up, they can display different colors, all to give you a different effect on the game, a different kind of feel. So it's just not the same game that you're playing every time. So it keeps it kind of unique, it keeps it fun. I believe the speakers will also have this same built-in expression lighting, so it kind of keeps everything the same. And again, with these solid state machines, everything kind of flows together. So even when you're not playing, like in the old pinball machines were just kind of lights flashing all over the place. And these new ones, you can see, like, even when he's not playing, you'll see like a wave of color kind of come across the screen. It affects all of the lights that are in play. So it makes it very unique, very cool addition. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the coolest pinball machines that Stern has released that I've seen. And I knew when John Wick was gonna be released that the collector had to have it. And we worked our butts off trying to get it here. And I wanna say, from reaching out to Stern and even local dealers, and getting number 5 like secured and getting it here, I want to say it took about a month. So we were able to make things happen pretty quickly and get it here. So that is pretty impressive. And that is limited to these machines. There's actually a piece of John Wick's suit from the John Wick 3. So on the actual pinball machine, under the glass to the right side of the player, there's an actual cutout from his suit that was actually worn in the movie John Wick 3. So there is memorabilia actually incorporated into the machine as well. For a pro, for example, we'll start in this range, probably around $7 grand, $6,900, $7 grand, which is actually a pretty good price for a pro model. But again, the pro is just an entry level. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it will get you in the door with the John Wick, which is still pretty cool. The next one up would be the Premium. Premium has some more little bells and whistles. It doesn't have things like the lighting effect, does expression lighting. It doesn't have his piece of the memorabilia of his jacket on there. It has different graphics on it. Those will jump to about 9,000, maybe 10,000, somewhere around there, 9,000. And then the limited editions, which is what he has, limited editions will start at probably 13 grand. And I can tell you that this one was probably closer to 15 or 16,000, just because I know for a fact that getting number 5 is going to be more costly. Because if you think about, there's people out there, including actors. I mean, there's famous people, there's wealthy people that have pull at Stern that can make things happen. Hey, I want this. Hey, I want that. You know, so you can imagine where number 1 probably went. Number 1 probably either stays at Stern. Number 2, I mean, probably actors, very wealthy people can achieve these things. So for us to get number 5 was a pretty strong move. And getting it here, and it just adds to the price point. You got delivery things, you got setup, so I guarantee you that game was probably at least 15 or 16 grand, just the machine. You know, when you get the limited edition, you're getting all these things, right? So even that piece of his jacket that's under the glass in there has value. You know, in and of itself. Changing the back glass on a machine is gonna cost you $500. So even if you were to buy like the pro model, the entry-level pro model, and you wanted to add things like, oh, I want these expression lights, you know, you're looking at $500, $1,000 to add these expression lights on the side. You don't like the graphics on your machine, you're kind of screwed. I mean, you'd have to get it sanded down and buy new graphics, and you're talking lots of money. So I mean, ultimately, I think it's a better value if you look at it money-wise, as far as all these add-ons and features and things like that go, but it's still a lot of money, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's a ton of money, but you're getting everything all wrapped in one shot, and not having to do everything over, and not having to deal with issues and installing stuff. It's just ready to go right out of the box as is for that price. So yes, it's expensive, but you're definitely getting your money's worth. And again, number 5 out of 1,000, that in itself has value. So if this game ever had to go back on market, just the number alone, the serial number alone, is gonna keep its value high. So you know, there's games like The Big Lebowski, right? The bowling game, like that's hard to find, and even when they come up, I haven't seen one come up for under 10 grand. Like 10 grand would be like, people would be jumping to get that game. I wanna say the last couple ones I've seen come up were about 15 grand, just right off the top. And a lot of these pinball machines have a lot to do with, you know, your own childhood and things like that. Because a lot of the games, some people want some of the old electromechanical games, the EM games they call them, where there's a lot of moving parts and bells and things in there. So like for me, I don't know that I have a grail pinball machine, but I would definitely like to get my hands on an older electromechanical, just because I like working on some of the stuff. I like when they break down, I like, you know, fixing them and things like that. However, you know, when you get into a franchise like John Wick, which is just huge following, I mean, across the world, this is just coming right out of the gate as a grail game, is my opinion. And that's why this was so hard to get. I mean, even though it took us a day, right? But they're very hard to get as far as these limited editions. There's only 1,000. Think about it. You think there's more than 1,000 people that like the John Wick franchise? and he's got one of the 1,000. So for me, that would be a Grail game, definitely. So I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like it. But again, I guess it would also come down, like I said, for a Grail pinball machine would be something that just triggers something in your own memory, in your childhood. So like he's got an older Black Knight that I want to say his wife has fond memories of when she was growing up. And so that would be your own Grail game when it comes to things like that. But Stern does come out with some pretty good games, and like I have a Metallica, which is great. So that's my wife's Grail game. So she loves Metallica. So we're not getting rid of the Metallica game. However, I think Stern is coming out with a new Metallica, which is going to have the screen and the video. So now I got to start figuring out how to get a Metallica game. So I think it all comes down to personal preference and like things that just trigger something inside of you. What makes you happy? So I don't know that there's any one in particular Grail pinball machine for any one specific person. I think it would just come down to that individual's memories and taste and kind of what they're into.
I'm totally stoked about this game. As you guys all well know, if you guys haven't seen the channel before, I have the John Wick safe, the guns, met Taryn, him and I become pretty good friends, and he sends me cool guns that were in John Wick. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. The wife is completely stoked. I will not find her. I'll never get dinner anymore because she'll be playing the pinball machines. Thank God there's a camera there so I can watch her lose. So that's awesome. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hit like and subscribe and watch me win pinball.
Sam, who's better at this game, you or Matt?
Oh, definitely me. Just ask him, he'll tell you.
Matt, who's better at the golf game, you or Sam?
Well, sometimes I gotta let Sam win because he gets all grouchy and he gets pissy.
He's grouchy.
But I usually win just because he sucks.